True Disturbing Scary Birthday Celebration Horror Stories, YouTube, English. On my 21st birthday, my wealthy uncle generously offered his stunning waterfront house for a grand celebration. His mansion featured a massive backyard and a luxurious pool, making it a perfect venue for a wild party. Since he was out of town for the entire month, he graciously allowed me to use the backyard for the occasion. Excited for the big day, I invited all my friends and encouraged them to bring their friends too, as long as they brought their own drinks. The festivities began at 8 p.m., and my uncle's state-of-the-art surround sound system filled the yard with music, creating the ideal party atmosphere. I made it clear that the house was off-limits unless someone needed to use the restroom. It was strictly an outdoor affair. As the night progressed, I realized that the number of guests was far beyond what I had expected. Almost all my invited friends showed up with extra companions, and to my surprise, groups of unfamiliar faces started streaming in through the gates. I assumed these newcomers had been invited by my friends, but with over 80 people in the backyard, I began worrying about the aftermath and potential damage. While I tried my best to monitor who entered and exited the house, my duties as the birthday host often pulled me away. As the party continued to swell, the noise attracted the attention of the police, and they eventually arrived to shut down the event due to numerous neighbor complaints. I had to reluctantly ask everyone to leave, except for a select few close friends. When the dust settled, only about 10 of us remained by the pool. Gradually, the group dwindled down until it was just me and my friend Rob. My uncle had made it clear that no one could stay overnight, but I figured it wouldn't hurt if Rob, who was completely inebriated, crashed on the couch. I guided him inside, then locked both gates and secured the back door. Upon returning inside, I found Rob sprawled out on the living room couch, snoring loudly. Attempting to talk to him proved futile, so I left him be. I quickly inspected the bathroom, which was relatively clean, except for a couple of empty beer cans on the counter. The cleanup didn't seem too daunting, especially with Rob's assistance. Feeling tired and a bit drunk myself, I headed upstairs to sleep in one of the many vacant bedrooms. I couldn't help but wonder why my uncle had been so adamant about not letting anyone stay over when there were 4 extra beds in the house. The grand staircase led to an upstairs balcony overlooking the foyer, which connected to several bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and another living area. I hastily brushed my teeth with my finger in one of the upstairs bathrooms, and then drifted off into a deep slumber. About an hour later, I was rudely awakened by a wave of nausea. The mix of liquors from earlier had taken its toll, and I had to rush to the bathroom to vomit. After emptying my stomach, I returned to the upstairs balcony area and heard faint footsteps coming from the foyer below. I called out, "Rob," and saw a figure freeze in the darkness beneath me. I felt their gaze, but the dim lighting prevented me from discerning any features. More sounds emanated from the living room downstairs, unmistakable snores. A sudden realization hit me. The person in the foyer wasn't Rob. I asked again, "Who is that?" My heart raced as I strained to hear their response, but none came. Instead, I heard more footsteps, this time from the kitchen. Panicked, I whispered to myself, "I'm going back to sleep," hoping to deceive the intruder into thinking I was oblivious to their presence. In reality, I planned to lock myself in the bedroom, call 911, and wait for the police. However, I remembered that Rob was downstairs and needed to be warned. I dialed his number, and someone picked up, but all I heard was heavy breathing. I hung up and dialed 911, whispering my situation to the operator. He advised me to stay in the room until the police arrived, believing that the intruders might not harm Rob if they thought he was asleep. As I waited anxiously, the operator informed me that the police were on their way, planning to check both the front and back doors. They managed to enter through the back door, which had been left open by the intruders. With their presence confirmed, I was instructed to go downstairs and meet the police. I woke up Rob, who was still in a drunken daze, and explained everything to the officers, while he listened, baffled and disoriented. After a thorough search of the house, the police concluded their investigation. Regrettably, my uncle's Cartier watch had been stolen from the kitchen drawer by one of the intruders. I had to break the news to my uncle, who was understandably displeased. Although my uncle didn't ask me to reimburse him for the missing watch, he firmly prohibited me from hosting any events at his house in the future. It was a hard-learned lesson in the importance of caution and responsibility when throwing a party, especially in a lavish, unfamiliar setting. In the aftermath of that harrowing night, my uncle's trust in me had understandably diminished. While he never demanded reimbursement for the stolen watch, it was clear that the incident had strained our relationship. I couldn't blame him. After all, it was my irresponsibility that had led to the intrusion. Over time, I made it a point to make amends. I helped my uncle with various chores around the house, did some landscaping work, and even invested in a security system to ensure the safety of his property. I wanted to regain his trust and prove that I had learned from my mistakes. As months passed, the memory of that terrifying night began to fade, but the lessons it had taught me remained vivid. I understood the importance of respecting others' property, being responsible while hosting events, and taking security seriously. I also valued the significance of strong communication with my uncle and not taking his generosity for granted. Eventually, my uncle's hesitance began to wane, and he allowed me to host small gatherings at his house again, albeit under strict supervision. I took every precaution to ensure that such events went smoothly, from monitoring guest lists to hiring security personnel. Through dedication and a commitment to making amends, I was gradually able to rebuild my uncle's trust. Our relationship strengthened, and I continued to appreciate the valuable life lessons I had learned from that fateful night. While my uncle's house remained a place of joy and celebration, it also served as a reminder of the importance of responsibility, respect, and the consequences of one's actions. Though it had started as a scary and unforgettable birthday story, it ultimately became a catalyst for personal growth and a deeper bond with my uncle. As the years passed, my relationship with my uncle continued to grow stronger. The lessons learned from that terrifying birthday party mishap serve as a constant reminder of the importance of responsibility and respect for others' property. I remain committed to being a responsible and considerate guest whenever I visited my uncle's magnificent waterfront home. I actively contributed to its upkeep and maintenance, helping with everything from landscaping to minor repairs. This not only demonstrated my commitment to making amends, but also deepened my connection to the house itself. Over time, my uncle became more comfortable with the idea of me hosting events at his house again, albeit cautiously. He appreciated the efforts I had made to address the security concerns that had arisen from the previous incident. I invested in state-of-the-art security systems, including surveillance cameras and alarms, to ensure the safety of the property and its residents. Whenever I organized an event, I took extra precautions to prevent a recurrence of the earlier intrusion. I carefully vetted the guest list, ensuring that only trusted friends were invited. Security personnel were hired to monitor the event and ensure that only authorized individuals entered the house. My commitment to making amends and my responsible approach to hosting events eventually paid off. My uncle gradually became more receptive to the idea of me using his house for special occasions. He recognized the positive changes I had made in my behavior and the efforts I had put into maintaining and protecting his property. In the end, what had begun as a scary and unforgettable birthday story became a pivotal moment in my life, leading to personal growth and the strengthening of my relationship with my uncle. It taught me invaluable lessons about responsibility, respect, and the importance of maintaining trust with loved ones. And as time went on, my uncle's house transformed from a place of fear and regret into a symbol of growth, reconciliation, and cherished memories.